So I am so excited to be here tonight to chat with you. We've been talking a lot about this, and I can't wait to share this information with people. It's going to be so cool.
Oh my, I know, it's
So,
really,
do
really
you,
exciting stuff.
yeah, so do you want to use like
Do I?
what it is that we're going to do tonight? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Uh, so, as some of you might have noticed, Ashley and I are going to be running a course called An Introduction to the Fairy Realm coming up in May 19th to the 26th, so a whole week, um, to get you familiar with all of the wonderful Fae energies that are out there. Because it's not just the fairies, though they're certainly our favorite. Well, one of my favorite. It's really, really hard to choose, but there's many, many different
Yeah.
energies. So tonight, um, we were going to talk a little bit about what led us to wanting to run this course, um, and why we're
Mhm.
doing it, and kind of going a little bit into some of our own um, personal experiences with the fairies and the other beings of the fairy realms. Because I don't know about you, Ashley, but I've had so many experiences from just being like a little child all the way up to now. And just as an adult, it just verifies so many of the things that I experienced as a child that I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, all those things that I felt and I heard and I saw and I did, those were real. So the other part then that we were going to be going into is talking a little bit about how um, you can sense the fairies around you and get a sense of kind of the different beings that may be in your particular area or who may be particular to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The course is really a whole week of us, giving you
Mm-hmm.
channeled information as well as
Mm-hmm.
diving into how do you interact with the beings that are around you? How do you sense them? Who's around you, identifying them, and then how can you connect with them on a daily basis? Because they want to connect with all of us. They want, to be involved in all of our lives, and they want more people to know that they're real and that they're there and their energy is so beautiful. And it's just, since I've learned to connect with them, and that they're real and everything's like actually real, like all the
Mm-hmm.
fairy tales are real, guys. All the mythical creatures, they're actually
Yeah.
there. And they're there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
they're there to connect with us. They're there to connect with, and they're just so magical. And so that's, basically in a nutshell, like it's just magic that you can connect to on a daily basis and lead a magical life, pretty much. So that's what we want to do,
Mm-hmm.
is to help you guys connect with all the magic that's around you and all the beings like the fairies and all the other beings that we're going to talk about um, over the course of a week, which is pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It is so awesome. It's honestly, to me, a childhood dream, like come true times like a million. To be able to both do this and just like you were saying, to realize that all those things that we're taught to just think are stories or myths or
Hmm.
fables, they're all 100% true. And those imaginary friends that you had when you were a child, they were true too. And
Yeah.
that's what I find really, really, really special. And one of the things that has kind of really, really motivated me to do this course is just to help people realize that all those stories are true. And like we're taught so much that reality is just this gray kind of thing, and I'm like, no, it's not. There is so
Mhm.
much magic there that just as we grow older, we start forgetting about it. And so this course is just really about remembering that magic and reconnecting with it, and just really as like I often get from the fairies, just go have fun and
Yeah.
enjoy and celebrate and love.
Hmm. Yeah, just have fun every day, connecting with energies that want you to have fun. They want you to
Mhm.
be joyous and like go out and do fun things and just, live a full fun life. So, yeah, I'm just so excited about this because like we're gonna talk about our childhood experiences, but
Mhm.
basically, I don't have as many as I think you have directly, Alyssa. I think I wasn't really aware that fairies were around, like, and that they were real. I loved like fantasy fiction, like fantasy stories. I loved all the
Mhm.
myths. I resonated with them. The magic in them was like so amazing, and I just escaped into that world, because I was like, you know, it's boring here where I'm at, and so I just want to like read about it and connect with it and connect with the magic and delve into it. And I do have a few examples that I do want to get into when I was younger, that I just didn't think that it was anything. And now looking back at it, knowing what I do know through learning how to channel and how to sense energies and how to
Mhm.
identify who those energies are, I'm just blown away by so many of the situations where I thought it was just kind of weird or it's just like normal. Like I didn't really pay much attention to it, and then looking back at the situations, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, like they were trying to connect with me, they were trying to show me something, or trying to get me to be outside or whatnot. So um, that has just
Mhm.
been really magical, learning how to sense that energy. And then now I know they're real and they've been around me a lot. And now that I know that, it's like, okay, I gotta like tell other people, like, they need to know this stuff is real. It's so exciting.
Mhm.
And it's just amazing, the amount of magic that's out there in the world. And until you start sensing it and kind of recognizing it and honoring that yes it's real, like you don't know, you just don't know what you don't know,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's really like that. It's totally like the whole idea of you don't start seeing the things and feeling the things until you just believe. So it all starts with just that belief. And
mhm.
um, I love that you're sharing that, Ashley, that you didn't necessarily have really, really specific, super clear experiences. Because I think that's the way with a lot of people. Even for me, as I grew up, it did just slide into being obsessed with fantasy and mythology, and that was literally the only
Mhm.
thing I would read, I would watch, I would listen to. I wanted nothing to do with the real world. And I think that
Mhm.
kind of thing, like being drawn to those kinds of stories and that kind of music and just that whole feeling, like even when you're surrounding yourself with like magical pictures of fairies and unicorns, that's them sending us messages of, remember, we're here, we're all around you right now. Um, and kind of
Mhm.
trying to get you back to it or just to connect to you for that particular point. Because another really magical thing that I've kind of noticed from my own childhood and then experiences now is how some of them really act like guardians, just like the way that we all have guardian angels. We've got that whole team behind us that are always, always with
Mhm.
us. And when it comes to any of the beings of the fairy realm, they're doing the same sort of thing, but it's more in that very fluid sort of way as they come when they know that we need that support and we need that help. And then they may pass out of our lives for a time, or we might, because it's free
Hmm.
will, kind of put down our
Great.
own
Yeah.
blinders, maybe forget that they were there. And it doesn't,
Hmm.
they maybe come back later on. Like that's something actually that happened with my guardian unicorn that
Oh my gosh, that's
first
so
started coming to
amazing.
me. Yeah,
That's blowing my
yeah.
mind right now.
Um,
Like,
like
just the fact that unicorns are coming and hanging out with you, like, that's amazing.
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, well, no, you're, you're just feeding off of what I was feeling so much. Like, when she came back to me again, a couple of weeks before we started talking about doing this whole course, it was just like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I am actually connecting with you. You're real. You're not this imaginary friend that all the adults in my life said that you were, and that I just started kind of making myself believe and think. Um, and oh my gosh, it was amazing because she was what really, really helped me get through school a lot. She first
Mhm.
came to me when I was about in kindergarten, and I was a very shy child who didn't like talking, particularly because I had a speech impediment that was quite bad when I was younger. So it was hard to talk and it was just embarrassing to talk. And so I didn't have any friends. And
Mm.
I was sitting out like underneath these trees one day and just in my mind, she came in and introduced herself as Mystic, the unicorn, and um,
Oh
began to show me
oh my gosh.
all these wonderful pictures of the forest where she lived. And it started filling up my time, and she became a friend to me where uh, when I was feeling sad or lonely or just stuck in class and being like, I don't want to be around these people, or I don't want to just
Mhm.
um, have to speak right now, or I'm just frustrated, or I just want to have fun and
Mhm.
forget things, she would come to me, and all I'd have to do is just close my eyes, and she'd take me off to her magical forest land that was like sparkling gold and silver. It had a little brook running through it, and with all these beautiful like
Wow.
pansies on the ground, and we'd go there. And then she came to me, she started coming to me too in my dreams. I had a picture of this princess and a unicorn that was on the opposite side of my wall. And I still really vividly remember like the first time when in my dream I walked up to that picture. I pulled it off the wall and there was a hole behind it. And I stepped
Oh
into
my
that hole,
gosh.
slid down a slide, and then I was actually there. I was actually in her
Oh
forest
wow.
in the dream. And oh yeah, that yeah. So yeah, she did a lot for me in
It's
terms of just
beautiful.
really helping me literally kind of escape from reality and just be the friend that I didn't have when I was younger because I just wasn't able to at that time to really step out, or I was too nervous and shy to do that. Um, and unfortunately, though, like as I did grow up, she kind of filtered off, and just became a story. She's always been in my
Mhm.
writing. I've got a couple other beings too that have always been in my writing as well. But a lot of the things that she showed me when I was younger, that's what's gone through my writing. And I really feel too that anytime we're creative and we're painting and we are singing, we are dancing, we are drawing, we are writing, whatever it is that we are doing, that we're creating, even um, like building something, like making beautiful furniture or carving, um, that is
Mhm.
us channeling those messages from any of those fae beings out there, and they don't necessarily have to be like your specific like guardian fairy or unicorn or whatever. They can just be any of the spirits that are around you. And that's a way that they still kind of keep connected to you, even if, like I did as a teenager, and then my early adult years just kind of closed off a bit until I started actively channeling. And she came back and said, um, it's time for me to return because you're ready to listen. And I want you to
Oh.
help others to be ready to listen and help them
Mm-hmm.
remember who they used to be when they were children. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm really, really excited to bring her into the course.
Yes, that warms my heart. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet and amazing. And I'm so excited that we're ready to, move forward with this because I really think like with you, that's really meaningful and it's really powerful to have her in your life. And other people can have those relationships as well. And just, that belief and being open and recognizing that is the goal of this course, is to help you guys connect with them because they are ready and knocking down the door. I have a little story to tell you. Is kind of linked with your dream story. I also had a dream when I was younger. I think I was about 12, and it was just kind of out of the blue. It was really weird. But I had a dream. There was this hill in my area. It was along a road. It wasn't even like near my house or anything. But I had a dream that all these fairies took me to this like, it's literally like a culvert pipe, like a big
Mhm.
pipe that like you put in like they put in roads and stuff to divert water and things. And they took me in my dream into this culvert pipe, and then I walked through it, and kind of like your hole in the wall, I ended up in this like amazing, beautiful, like crystal cave. And there was
Mhm.
candles everywhere, and there was all these fairy beings everywhere. They were like flying around. They were everywhere. And I actually
Mhm.
saw what I think was like an imp figure or a troll figure. They're kind of blurred
Mhm.
together in my mind now, but they were a trickster, and they were laughing because I was there, but I wasn't scared. I was like, "Hey, I'm here. What's up? Let's hang out." And ever since that dream, when I would pass that hill, I would think, "Oh, the fairies live in that hill." And I would
Mhm.
I tell my younger sisters about the fairies in the hill, and you can get there through the little culvert, and they loved that story, and it was like just something really kind of magical and special that I don't know, like I just had that experience, and then looking back at it after I learned to channel and be open to it, like it was the same energy that I started feeling as the fairies
Mhm.
started coming to me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like that dream was real, like that's crazy. So I just wanted to share
Mhm.
that. But on your last point about how Mystic said that you're ready to listen and you need to step forward and share that and help people like believe in magic. I recently had a set of dwarf women in my room. I was dead asleep, and I just felt
Mhm.
like this little group of women was sitting there, and I sit up in bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is here? And their energy was so different than what I had felt before. And they were so polite and really cute and really, really sweet. They're like, don't worry, like go back to sleep, we'll
Mhm.
be here when you wake up. And all day the next day, I was channeling them when I was at work, I was on lunch, I was just like writing furiously. And they were telling me that, um, they're stepping forward to work with me and to work with us as a group in the course, and just anyone who wants to work with them, because the vibrations here at Earth are changing. All the energy is changing. Magic is coming back in a more of a mainstream way. People are kind of paying more attention to it now, and it's definitely flooding
Mhm.
back. So they want to join in on this little journey of ours and join the course and support each of us feeling that magic in our day-to-day lives. And they're just so ecstatic that we're doing this. And I don't know who put the idea in our heads at that moment, but it's just kind of
Hmm.
like, oh, we should just do a course. Like, duh, of course we need to do that. Why didn't we think of that
Hmm.
sooner? But they were, I'm sure, all very, very excited. Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah. I,
oh, we should talk about, sorry to interrupt, what happened
mhm.
last night when you were walking home, and
I
then
was just
after you
going
got
to
home, what
talk
you were
about
telling
that.
me about.
Yeah.
Yay, good, because that
Oh
was
my
so
gosh. Yeah.
exciting.
Mhm. Yeah, that was the next thing on my mind because just kind of off of what you were saying about like we both don't kind of know where this idea just suddenly popped into our heads, and I was like, yes, here, fully formed, and it was so easy to just come out and create. I really do feel like because the magic is all coming back, and these are all such magical beings, they're all working together because they're all in the same vibrations.
Hmm.
Of this is the time now, because definitely since we started talking about it, I keep having those experiences, or there's people around me who also keep having the experiences and like meeting other beings. And they're like, I haven't really met like Brownie very often or whatever. But yeah, so going back to the point of what happened to me just last night, I was walking home from work. It was about um 8:30, just about in the evening, so starting to get quite dark, and it's really, really lovely where I live, and I'm walking. It's all so many trees, and there's flowers absolutely everywhere. So it's a great way to just instantly connect with spirit all the time. I often
Hmm.
have so many conversations just on uh, and yeah, last night I was just walking along, and just the word dragons popped into my head. And then seconds later, this really powerful, warm energy just swooshed down, like right on top of my head and through, just stopping me in my tracks. Just that strong. And then began kind of whooshing just back and forth in front of me. Um, like all these spirals. And as the energy kind of slowed, it formed in front of me as this beautiful kind of pearly, silvery, um, very looping kind of cloud-like dragon. And I was just like, oh my gosh, dragon, dragon. Like I had started like meeting all these others, but it just hadn't twigged to me yet that of course dragons are part of it.
Hmm.
And um, such a lovely energy. And came to me speaking in a very deep, kind of thrumming voice, and told me that he was one of the guardian dragons who works very closely with Gaia to um, just watch over the energies of the earth and protect the earth and kind of be her um, voice and her hands and her arms and just help her out even further, kind of with connecting with people, especially who are just beginning to listen and hear. And one thing that he was really insistent about as well, that I love, was he said that the way to believe is to just spark curiosity. And once you sparked curiosity, once you have curiosity, you will begin to believe, and it just unfolds in a spiral. And then he was spinning around himself, and um, yeah, and
That's
it
amazing.
was just lovely what he was yeah, saying. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing was all about he was here to support us in sparking that curiosity. So again, it was another energy that is seeing that the magic is coming back, that we're all ready for this, and it's just a matter of us believing and getting to know
Hmm.
how they feel, because definitely that dragon when he came in, it was a very different energy from the fairies that I've
Oh yeah.
met, or my guardian unicorn, or I had the gnomes come to me at one point as well. They're all very, very different. Um, and
Hmm.
another thing too that I found really, really interesting, especially kind of going off of my own childhood experiences, is how depending on your location, um, there's different Fey energies in every single location because they're all looking after um, the different areas. They're all guardians and incarnations of Gaia's own source energy in a certain way. Um, and like the dragon last night, he called himself the Western Wind Dragon and is specific to this particular area and location. Um,
Hmm.
whereas fairies that I came across when I was a child had quite a different energy from the fairies that I've met over here. Because where I grew up is quite a different environment from where I'm living now. And um, from what I can remember as a child, they were very, very small and like almost gold and yellowy and sparkled a lot. And the ones out
Hmm.
here uh, feel still very sparkly, but they're more calm in terms of being like blues and greens and very oceanic and wind feeling, which I love too because they really personify their specific locations. Because the ones that I grew up with as a child, that was a very kind of deserty valley kind of interior area. So
Hmm.
that was
Wow.
another that's another thing that we're going to be talking about definitely a lot in the course as well is how these different
Hmm.
energies feel and how they do differ depending on your locations, and then even the different guardian energies that you have.
Yeah. And I do want to speak on the
Yeah.
guardian. So Alyssa was telling me over a
Mhm.
text message on
Yeah.
Messenger, saying, "Oh my gosh, this guardian dragon's here, and he's saying this." And as I was reading it, I felt him zoom in. He was like this far away from my face. He was all over my left side. He kind
Yeah.
of, in my mind's eye, we got the same image of what he looks like, and he was also telling me he's a wind guardian or wind dragon, and same colors, everything. And he was kind of standing on his front legs like a bulldog. If you know, like that bendy, it was kind of bendy a little bit. His legs weren't very long, but his body
Mhm.
was just like twirling around behind him, like there was wind blowing him around. And it was just amazing.
Mhm.
And he was just right there. And I've been feeling him all day today, in and out. He's been checking in on me because I've been thinking about this, um, this talk, and I'm just so excited about the course and everything that we're going to be able to share. And so yeah, he's been like right there, and it's just been so amazing. Like I never would have thought that I would be connecting with a guardian dragon. Like I didn't even know that existed. And all
Yeah.
these beings now are coming to us, and they want us to talk about them. They want us to share their information, and so that more people can connect to them. So I just can't wait, you
Mhm.
guys. It's going to be so amazing. It really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And I just like, I'm
Yeah, it
smiling like
really,
crazy because
really.
I have fairy energy around me right now. There's the dragon. He's kind of right here. And
Mhm.
I'm also feeling the dwarf women. They connect with me, and I love connecting with them. And they just pop in. They're kind of like
Mhm.
grandma ladies to me. And so they're just
They
watching,
really are.
they're just really excited,
Mhm.
but they're watching. And as you were talking about the guardian um, dragon before, the elves popped in and they were showing me a picture of sequoia trees, because I was thinking about how does their
Mhm.
energy feel. If any of you have been in the Great Redwoods or seen any like sequoia trees before in person, like right up against them, that's how they feel. And I didn't really know how to verbalize that until they just popped that picture in my head, and it's just amazing. So we're going to go into all that kind of stuff as well, and we're going to be channeling anything they want us to share. and doing full Q&As so you can ask them all kinds of questions. So that's going to be super cool too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, it
think,
really will. I'm really,
yeah,
really
it's just
excited
gonna
about that, especially because it really, really opens the doors so much to just so many more beings and energies to be connecting to, and realizing that if you don't necessarily feel like in that moment that, um, like when you're standing out in nature or something, that this is a moment where you would want to call upon a particular angel. There's so many other energies that are also right there,
Mm-hmm.
that are in the ground, that are in the air, that are in the trees you're around, that are in the flowers, that
Yes.
are
Oh my
also
gosh.
there, that can, um, depending on how you are in that moment, come in to support you even better. Um, and really, really, like that was the other thing that I was getting from the dragon last night was he was very insistent on he wanted me to know that himself and all the others out there are all doing similar things in terms of being able to help you release attachments, um, take away any of the negative low vibe energy, just help you feel joy and peace and love, just help you laugh again. Really, whatever problem you're having, they're like, yes, yes, we want to help you with
Yeah.
it. He was so insistent about that. And it's just, again, a matter of just speaking up and asking and going
Mm-hmm.
out and stepping into their environments and seeking them. And they can do just as much as any of the other energies out there that are really, really well known. And then the other thing is with connecting with them. Another thing that he was talking about as well was that by connecting with them, then we are beginning
Mm-hmm.
to work with them on their particular mission of raising
Yeah.
the energies of the earth. So that's another thing that I just loved because I've always been like, how can I help more to raise all the energies of the earth? A lot of it, yes, is definitely all about ourselves and raising our own individual energies. And by doing that, we can raise all the energies around us. But you can also so actively just go out and by connecting with them, what you're doing is raising your own belief of those energies, which
Mm-hmm.
allows them to become more visible to this particular plane. And it may
Yeah.
just start out with that slight sense and that feeling of there is another energy here. Or with the fairies, they often make themselves known with little bells or wind or laughter, and just people beginning to notice that more. Um, So that was another thing that I absolutely loved is just by connecting with them, we are all helping
Mm-hmm.
them as well.
Yeah. And that's beautiful because,
Like,
as people are
yeah.
learning to channel or connect or just awakening, and they're
Hmm.
realizing they're sensing more things that they don't really know much about, just going out and asking
Hmm.
questions of, the space around you, of the energies that you may be feeling, connect with Earth. So connect with Gaia, lean against a tree that
Hmm.
you love, that you just connect with. And just be open and allow those energies to kind of wash over you and see what you get from it. You were talking about, you had mentioned trees, and that was another thing that I wanted to talk about because so many people, they love trees. They love just seeing them, they love certain kinds of trees. And
Hmm.
trees are
Yeah.
very alive. They're not just alive like biologically, they have their own energy. And that's one thing, as even since I was really, and I didn't really know why I love trees so much and why I just am really drawn to
Hmm.
them until I started channeling and I realized, oh, I'm sensing their energy. I'm connecting to them. Before I even knew
Hmm.
anything about being able to channel or connect to spirit at all. I was studying abroad in Tanzania, and I was in a place
Mhm.
where I wasn't always comfortable. I was always like kind of on my guard a little bit. I just wasn't very comfortable in the location where I was, and it was that was okay. It was just, I was there to do have an experience, to go to school and do some research on things that I was working on at the time, and I loved it. It was great, but I saw this one tree, and it was so beautiful because there was this hill where I lived, and on the hill there was a mosque,
Mhm.
a church, and another place of worship. It's escaping me what they call it specifically, but it was a place of worship. There was three different religions, and this tree was right smack dab in the middle of all of these be, uh,
Mhm.
beautiful buildings. And this tree was huge. And I, the only time I really felt comfortable and relaxed and just like a beautiful, warm energy, was when I was standing by that tree. And every day I would walk by it and I would touch it and I would take photos of it like all the time. And people thought I was like really weird. But that tree, like, I just felt like God's source energy was going through that tree. And I couldn't explain it at the time. I couldn't connect to it. I didn't really know what that meant. But I just felt like I needed to be by this tree because it was so beautiful. And then looking back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, God's source energy was in that tree. Like, he was there and I was feeling him, and he was like right there. And that's why I felt so safe and comfortable and literally warm and just relaxed, and it was amazing. Not that I was uncomfortable the whole time on the trip, but
Mhm.
it was really stretching my boundaries. So, stretching my comfort zone,
Mhm.
stretching my own boundaries, stretching my own knowledge base. So, it was a beautiful experience, and I grew a lot from it. But
Yeah.
that tree, I wish I could just go back and hang out with that tree because it was so amazing. So, if other people, if you don't really
Mhm.
know why you're so drawn to something like that, it's because something within you is resonating and connecting to that frequency of that energy that's there. And just to honor it and respect it and love it. And yeah, it's so magical and amazing.
Oh my
Jackie saying,
gosh,
I love
yeah.
plants and
Yeah,
dirt.
just
That's awesome.
yes. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know about any of you, but I'm, well, I talk a lot out loud in general. I've always done that. It's
Me
probably
too.
a slight thing of just sensing that there's always energies around me. But what I love especially is just talking with the plants that I have, or I don't have a garden, unfortunately, at the place where I'm living right now. But when I did have a garden,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was so amazing too, to just be out there, my hands in the dirt and watering and weeding and just having conversations with the plants. And you're just getting so
Oh,
washed with their thankful energy. And um, then with even older nature's energies, like the trees, um, when you're just standing against them, like some of them have the best advice. Like there's a fantastic tree just
yes.
outside of where I currently live, who reminds me so much of an ant. So those are the
Oh my gosh,
live
that's
talking and walking
amazing.
through spirits from the Lord of the Rings. And
Oh my
oh my
gosh.
gosh, yeah, the first time I heard that tree's voice, I was like, you're just like an ant. That's also completely
That's
true. It was
beautiful.
like, of course it's true. I've always been here.
Yep.
That's where Tolkien
Wow.
got his ideas, was just from us. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, 'cause that was another thing that kind of solidified, wow, all of the
Mm.
stories really, really are true. And that anything that we're imagining, that's the other thing that I find just so magical, is that our own imaginations, those are coming from us tapping into source and tapping into these other energies and hearing them at whatever frequencies we're managing to catch. And then we're putting them into the stories that we're all reading and we're sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, we don't we're not, I mean, we are imaginative beings, like as humans, but we rely a lot on spirit giving us information. Like half the stuff that I've dreamt up,
Mm-hmm.
half the stuff that I've thought of, that I've written up, like, thought, oh, this would be a cool story. Like, it's all rooted in all of the guidance that they're giving me and the experiences and then the energy that's coming in. It's not like just I'm making something brilliant up in my in my mind. I'm not that imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
It's tapping into, a
Oh,
knowledge that we all have.
mhm.
So,
Well, yeah, everybody's imaginative. I stand by the fact that everybody is a very highly creative being and can imagine whatever they desire. And all it just really takes is just like with channeling, just the practice. That's another thing that I really,
yeah,
really
it's a good point.
attribute to my wonderful, like, guardian unicorn was often, she would just have like tell me, lie on your back, look at the clouds, tell me what do you see right now? Or I'd be sitting in a classroom and she'd be like, look at that wall there. What do you see? Can you tell me a story
Mm-hmm.
from the cracks in the wall? And just
Oh,
with like her prompting,
that's
then
cool.
I was starting to just be able to really just gaze on and just see within our regular day-to-day reality all of the stories, and that everything has some sort of energy if you just listen to it. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, Chrissy. Actually, I just noticed your comment there. I was just gonna say that yeah, even things we don't think necessarily have energies, like just rocks or crystals have amazing energy.
Mm-hmm.
But just a regular rock even, those have wonderful energies. And they too
Yeah.
have voices. Mhm,
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that because I was thinking about just
mhm,
like little like rocks. You just see them. They're not pretty by any means, but like
mhm,
you need to pick them up
mhm.
and hold them like
Yeah.
and they're just like they feel so
Mhm.
good. Like that's their energy calling to you. You resonate with that energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really, really is. And oh my gosh. Yeah, it's how I have definitely created so many things. It's just by connecting with those energies. And that's the thing that, yeah, kind of going back to why we're doing all of this. That's one of the things that's really, really motivating me is just getting people to reconnect with that creativity and just realize that so many of the things that society has kind of like trained into us of you have to be this particular way um, to be called
Mm-hmm.
an artist or to be called creative. No, no. Um, Anybody is. And it's just all, again, based on our particular individual frequencies. And just that practice, which um, is definitely something that I'm wanting to encourage in this course as we're going through and introducing how the different energies feel. Um, One of the things that we're going to be adding in as well are some journal prompts into the ebook that we're going to be using.
Yes.
And with those journal prompts, they're very much going to be along the lines of getting you to sit down and be creative or spend your day just with that thought in the back of your mind. And when you do have a particular moment to pause, to then let all that creativity out that's been percolating in your brain throughout the day. And yeah, just use that as another way to start practicing how it just takes like a couple seconds every day while you're
Mm-hmm.
just walking outside to just allow your brain to rest and tune in or just look at something off to the side that's a tree and can you see a face in that tree? Can you hear a voice? Is there a feeling you're getting from the wind?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be like we're going to have the journal prompts in our ebook that comes with the course, but we're also going
Mhm.
to be having prompts throughout the day. So it's not even just in your journal. It's like, let's hear stories from people as, you know, the day's progressing and you're
Mhm.
connecting to the energies and you're feeling it. What are you getting? And share that with the class, because
Mhm.
then everyone else can kind of tune into that or see what's going on around them. And Kristen is asking, what does the fairy energy feel like? So I'll say what it feels like to me. To me, it feels like, um, how do I describe this? It feels, fairy energy to me feels sparkly. It feels light. It feels just like there's just a really good joke that's being told, and you just need to burst out and laugh. And it's just like really high energy. Like you can just, whenever I channel them, I feel like I can just go run for 10 miles because I have so much energy from them. And it's just like, I can't handle it sometimes. It's just too much. But
Mhm.
it's just really, it's gentle. It's not harsh or anything. It's gentle, light, just really nice, warm, fuzzy, sparkly energy. How about for you?
Mhm. Yeah. Um, for me, well, some of it's a little bit similar to you, but um, I would describe it a little bit more as it's like that kind of feeling that you have like when you're a child and you're like slipping in really, really quietly and you're really, really, really excited about something. So you're really, really vibrating and you're like moving
Yeah.
around and just moving really, really quickly, darting back and forth. And then you leap out and it's just like this sparkling burst of we're here, we're ready. Just
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. So it's really, really lovely.
Yeah.
Ooh, and
Yeah,
Jackie,
that's a good
actually, to
way to
kind of
describe that.
continue, yeah, yeah, it really is. Oh, I love them. They're with me too.
Oh, yeah. I
So,
see
Jackie,
Jackie's
just kind of
question.
continuing on question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I touched on a little bit earlier, Jackie. I'm not sure if you were there for it, but I'll definitely kind of talk on it a little bit more because that was something that I was getting a little bit more from the guardian dragon that had visited me. Was that
Yeah.
the fairies, the brownies, the gnomes, the trolls, the dwarves, the elves, um, any of the fae beings out there, they all work with Gaia, but they also are here to work with us. That's the biggest thing, especially right now, is that they're all seeing that the vibrations that we're giving off are starting to match to the point where they're like, magic is coming back. This is time for things to start rising. This is time for us to step out and stop hiding and stop just being off in our own dimensions and in our own areas. They used to be around us um, a long, long, long time ago. And then started kind of fading back as the
Mm-hmm.
vibrations on the earth went down for a while. Now it's rising up again. So, yeah, they're back here to help us to help Gaia. So we're all working together, which is absolutely magical. So definitely, definitely, especially with this course, it's all about connecting with them to help each other.
Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
And they'll help
Mhm.
you, and you'll help them, and then we'll all help Mother Earth. So
Mhm.
it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
looking to see if there's any
Mhm.
other questions too. More broad questions about
Mhm.
fairies or fae or the fairy realm. Jonathan asks, are there different types of fairies?
Ooh, that's a good one. And yes, um,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. There are absolutely different types of fairies, like even beyond the fairies that look after certain areas. There too are fairies
Yeah.
that, just like with my guardian unicorn, there are guardian fairies as well who will specifically work with particular humans. Um, but definitely, they each have a particular environment that they largely keep to and they look after. Though, even with that, if they feel that they really have something that they need to speak to you about, they will come with you. As there was a group of 10 fairies who like
Mm-hmm.
rushed into me one day, about a month ago or so, who just live literally in around the park area where I'm at. Um, and they ended up following me and my next door neighbor um, in the car
Oh my
way off as I
gosh.
was going to work.
Oh my gosh.
So they certainly will like keep following you if they really have something that they want to say or they want to help you with, which at that point, um, they were just really, really excited about the fact that I was wanting to do this course and um, help other people be aware that there were fairies and other beings out there. And then they were also just being really thankful and they were pulling some heavier energies off. And they were also thanking my next door neighbor and really helping her out as well. And so if they feel the need to move out of their area, they absolutely will, even though they do tend to generally focus in on certain environments, and those are the areas they work on and kind of live in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But too,
Yeah.
like your specific kind of fairy mound area, that was that particular group of fairies area that they lived in.
That's so cool. Yeah, and there's lots of fairies that help
Hmm.
like animals and plants, like they kind of focus on those things.
Hmm.
And but they will expand if, they want to. I mean, they can they're not just solely focused on one thing, but they can help their area
Hmm.
or help the animals in the area or help the plants. They have all kind of different jobs. But yeah, it's so amazing to just think about like there's all these different types. I mean, there's fairies, but within that, there's so many different types of fairies. And as you were
Hmm.
saying before, you were describing the fairies from your childhood as like gold and sparkly and glittery, and then the fairies that you've come to know where you're living now, they're more like oceanic, like they're taking on the colors and kind of the flavors and the feeling of the place that you live. So that's so cool to think
Hmm.
about. And just like for my own self, I
Hmm.
don't, I haven't recognized fairies that are from like a specific area to where I'm at. So now that we're talking about this, and
Hmm.
when we do the course, I'm totally gonna be like, okay, where's all my fairies at in this location? Because I want to talk to them specifically. So that's gonna be really fun. Yeah, all the fairies that I've talked with,
Hmm.
um, I don't know where they come from, but they're just like all over, and there's just so much energy. But it's just really exciting to think about. You can go to your favorite park or go lean against your favorite tree and connect with those energies that are in that area. That's super cool.
Hmm.
Um, oh, Jackie has an interesting question. Does fairies live in oceans too? I've never, thought to ask that or wonder that. I don't see why
Hmm.
not.
Yeah, no, they would
Yeah.
because they're nature spirits and the ocean is the forest for many other animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it would be really, really
Mhm.
interesting. Maybe we'll have to do some more channeling around that, like connecting with
Mhm.
ocean fairy spirits and seeing, what are their jobs like? What do they do? And how do they help the animals that are in the oceans?
Mhm.
That would be super
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that when you're connecting with the fairy realm, it's like there is no wrong answer. There is no like end
Mm-hmm.
point that everything if you're just believing it, it becomes. That's one thing that I've heard from many different beings actually, is that whole idea that because we're all such creative beings and all it takes is thinking a particular thought over and over to then manifest that, that it's exactly the same when it comes to um, all these Fey beings as well. That if you're thinking very particularly on um, this must be real, this must be real, then it's going to manifest and become that way. So that actually I'm leading up to. There was another question here just about from Chrissy here asking, should we be aware of the negative Fae or fairies? And that really goes off of how whatever you're thinking, that is going to then be the kind of energy that's going to be around you. And that's how those have been created in the past and have gone down through stories with like all those
Mm-hmm.
tricksy fairies and their supposed wicked fairies. That's those energies of the people telling those things that are then creating those. Um, and stories are uh, just as real in any different dimension as what we're experiencing right now. Like what we're experiencing is a story to other beings somewhere else. And just a
Yeah.
couple seconds off us, there are so many different realities happening at the same time. So it it's just mind blowing to me. Like when I was kind of starting to think about it, as I just kept
Yeah.
hearing that over and over from so many beings that anything we think does become a reality somewhere, even if it's not necessarily right in front of us in that moment.
For sure.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
is there anything else that we wanted to hit on for making sure everyone has info about the course, or anything, any other cool
Mhm.
stories that you have?
Um, well, in terms of stories, it's more just really, really, because Mystic was the biggest influence in my life. But one thing I guess I just wanted to finish off with in terms of stories was just really reminding people to think back to the stories and the things that have been in their family or that they heard when they were little or that they believed when they were little. Because I think one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons why I really had such a magical childhood was because my grandmother um, had come from kind of a line too of sorts where her mother had taught her about the fairies and told her this is how you find the
Oh.
fairies, this is where they hide, this is where they live, this is how you can connect with them and talk with them. And she passed that on to me when I was a little girl as well. And she'd take me out to the garden and she'd tell me that these pansies right here, these are the fairies hiding right now.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
They are watching over us.
Mm-hmm.
And guiding you. They just don't want to be seen right now because it's not quite the time for them to come out. So they live
Oh.
here with these pansies. And that's always really, really stuck with me. Every time I've seen pansies, or irises as well, I always like look at them for the particular shape of like a fairy with the wings and dress
Mm-hmm.
and the little feet and everything. Um, and then too, she taught me how to like walk into a natural space, like in a forest or under a tree, and to just sit there and be still. Um, and just listen
So
for the
beautiful.
fairies. And she was the one who taught me about how like the wind is their voice, or if I was hearing bells, or that the fairies love it if you're creative, especially if you're creative with um natural things and things that are just left along the bottom of the forest floor. So, like bits of old leaves and twigs and whatever's kind of fallen off the tree. They love it if you take it up and you create something new out of it and you just celebrate it and you love it, even though it's something that's kind of fallen off of the trees above. So she taught me how to
Mm-hmm.
build like little houses and do like little mosaics. And so I used to do those all the time under trees in our property. Um, and I'd hear
Wow.
like the little tinkling bells or yeah, feel the wind rushing through the trees when I lived in a place where it was really dry and never would get wind. Uh, so it's just little tiny moments like that that as you grow up, um, you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of brush aside as well. That was just childhood, and you don't necessarily treat it as that was something magical and really, really special, and connecting with
Mm-hmm.
those fairies that are out there. Or for other people, it could be all sorts of other different energies depending on where they're living or what they particularly vibrate the best with in that particular moment.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's so beautiful. And like when we do this course and we're learning all these things, like I know I'm gonna take that and, with my nieces and my nephew, like I'm gonna make special moments like that for them to kind of, share that magic
Mhm,
and that like really beautiful, energy because it's all energy and that's so
mhm,
gorgeous because now you're able to connect with them and like that's an amazing gift.
mhm.
And you're
Yeah.
open to that because partly your grandma was an influence for you when you were a child. So that's so cool. And I think,
Mhm,
people when if they join the course, like they're going to learn all these little things and just see the magic and then be able to share that. And I'm just so excited to see where people take this. It's really we're going to provide information, but it's really your guys' course. If you join and you make it what you want it to be, and it's just I'm so excited about it. It's
mhm.
going to be beautiful, really beautiful like that.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, I'm really, really excited to hear everybody else's stories and experiences from before the course and during the course, and yeah, just really, really celebrating all the magic that we're creating together.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So do we want to recap what the course is about? I know we went through it in the beginning, but we can just kind of
mhm.
recap it again, and then we can, I guess, call it a night. I can talk for hours about this stuff. Could keep going
Oh my
on
gosh.
and on. But I don't think people want to
Yeah,
see like, and hear like every single little story that I have. So, um,
yeah.
so yeah, basically the course that we're talking about, it's an introduction to the fairy realm. And Alyssa and I are going to be teaching this course, and it's a week-long course. It's going to start May 19th and end on May 26th. And we have so much material. Each day it's going to be a different being from the fairy realm. And of course, we'll be channeling fairies, but we'll also be channeling like the guardian dragons that we just talked about and the dwarf women and just dwarfs in general that we talked about, and the unicorns. You're going to be channeling unicorns, which I'm really really excited to hear. Now that we've heard your story with how you connected with them, like I cannot wait to hear from Mystic. That's going to be so great. And the elves and gnomes and trolls and tree spirits and nature spirits and Gaia is
Yeah.
going to be there. It's going to be a party, guys. It's going to be
Mhm,
so amazing. And yeah, we're going to have each day, we're going to be pulling
mhm,
fairy cards for people. We're going to be doing some channeling material, and then we'll have a full like live QA
mhm,
session so you guys can ask all the questions that you want. And yeah, it's just going to be brilliant. It really will be. And it's just going to be so magical. And I cannot wait for it to be here already because it's just going to
mhm.
be really, really fun. So,
Oh, I know. Oh, I am so, so excited of all the magic that we're going to be creating together. Oh,
me too.
yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, you can always contact me or Alyssa. You can find me at channelingwithlove.com. You can book to join the class there, or you can private message me here on Facebook, Ashley Cunningham Medium. You can go to my website or my Facebook page there. And how would you like to be contacted, Alyssa?
Um, it works to either private message me through Facebook, or you can email me at alyssaimaginist@gmail.com, and we connect through that way. Um, yeah, so there's two different
Brilliant.
options.
That's so exciting. And it's just going to be really, it's just going to be so awesome. I can't say that enough. I can keep going on and on about it. But
I
I'm
know.
just so excited. And there's so much energy right now that's excited. Like I'm kind of getting a little like over the top, high as a kite, basically, on high vibrational energy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling them. They're
Hmm.
all really excited. They want everyone who is interested at all to see what it's about and just connect with them. They just want to,
Hmm.
share their magic with you, and they just want to have fun with you and connect with you. So, yeah, I can't
Yeah.
say more fun things about it. I can keep going on and on. Is there any last things that you would like to talk about,
Yeah.
Alyssa, as we wrap up?
Well, the last thing that I thought would be fantastic to wrap up with, because honestly, just I was doing it here. It was like, wow, yeah, because I've had a lot of energies around me as well. Was because one of the things, yeah, like we said, that we'll be doing is pulling some fairy cards. So I just did that right now for all of you here and for this upcoming course, and it's honestly
Oh,
so
nice.
perfect because it's all about um just celebrating the magic of nature and
Oh
about
my gosh.
allowing your curiosity to
Wow.
be sparked. Mhm. Yeah.
Ah, oh
So
my
allow your
gosh.
curiosity to be
That's
sparked.
beautiful.
Feel the magic, be the magic, believe the magic, and so you will become the magic. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's blowing my mind
Yeah.
how perfect and amazing that card is, like for real. Like
I
I should be
know.
used to that
Yeah.
by now, but I
Okay.
never get used to it. It's still so amazing to me. Like you can pull a card like that and it's
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about, and it's exactly what the point of this is. And oh, that's so amazing. I love it. Yes, be the
Hmm.
magic. That's so perfect.
Yes. Hmm. That is definitely going to
Wow.
be another one of our top prizes.
Yes, for sure. Oh my gosh,
Good for
yes, that's
yeah.
perfect. Oh, wow. Well, thanks, Alyssa, for
Yeah.
hosting me and having a conversation with all of us about your
Mhm.
experiences. It's been fun to share my experiences. I cannot wait to work with you on this
Mhm.
course and work with everyone else in the course. It's just going to be magical. That's all I can say. It's just magical.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be so magical.
It's
Yeah. And
beautiful.
thank you. Um I've yeah, together we're going to be making all magic. So I'm really excited because the more of us together,
Yes.
the more magic that's going to be created. So, yeah,
Oh
thank
my
you all
gosh.
for
Yes, for
listening
sure.
in and mhm.
Ah, yeah,
All right.
awesome. Well, okay. We'll talk to you later, Alyssa.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again.
Okay.
Bye
Awesome. Bye. Bye, everyone.
now.
Have a good evening, morning,
Bye.
afternoon. See ya.